Are you feeling anxious about the very home you live in? Each mortgage payment, each insurance bill, each time you see the market dip, you can't help but wonder, is this home protecting me or dragging me down? Thousands of middle-class families in California are feeling exactly that. Anxiety, sleepless nights, and doubt about the future. Home prices remain sky-high, but liquidity has vanished. Buyers have pulled back, sellers are stuck, and many homeowners in their 50s and 60s are waking up to a brutal truth. Their retirement is being swallowed by a ruthless market. That's why today, we need to face this head-on. Top 10 California cities where home prices will crash in 2025. Housing market alert. You'll see the truth behind the glitter. From Los Angeles and San Francisco to Fresno and Venice, places once known as the American dream have become painful lessons in the imbalance between life's true value and the price of a house. Don't click away, because if you miss even one city in this list, you might lose your only chance to protect your biggest asset. Number 10. Los Angeles, the city of lights. Fading in the hearts of its people. At 50 or 60, you should be enjoying the rewards of a lifetime of hard work. But in Los Angeles, even that has become a luxury. The city once glowing with lights, once a symbol of the California dream, now reveals a harsh paradox. You can see thousands of homes, but you can't touch them. By mid-2025, the median home price in LA had dropped about 6 to 8% from its 2022 peak. But don't celebrate yet, because that number doesn't mean homes are more accessible. In reality, this is a full-blown liquidity crisis. Inventory is up 42%. Time on market has doubled from 23 to 47 days, and canceled deals are surging, especially in the $800,000 to $1.3 million range. The homes are there. The buyers are gone. The deepest pain lies in the disconnect between income and real value. Before COVID, a middle-class household earning $75,000 a year could qualify for a $500,000 mortgage. Now, with the same income, they can only borrow about $330,000. But in LA, a modest home still costs nearly $950,000. That gap isn't just financial. It's a black hole swallowing the dream of home ownership for an entire generation. And for those who already own homes, the burden hasn't gotten any lighter. In the past 12 months, utility costs, electricity, water, gas, have gone up 12 to 18%. Home insurance has jumped nearly 30% in areas prone to wildfires or crime. Property taxes and cost of living keep rising, while quality of life declines. Homelessness is exploding, traffic is relentless, and neighborhood safety is collapsing. $1 million home no longer means safety or happiness. For viewers nearing retirement, the truth is even more heartbreaking. The home that was supposed to secure your golden years is now eating away your savings. Hold on, and it drains every dollar of your pension. Sell, and you likely lose, because no one will pay what you once did. Want to buy? Even if you can afford it, fear keeps you on the sidelines. Los Angeles isn't collapsing from a single shock. It's slowly slipping, house by house, neighborhood by neighborhood, hope by hope. And that's the scariest part. When even financially capable buyers stop believing in the market, the crash has already begun in the mind, long before it hits the chart. Number 9. Fresno. When the middle class and retirees are trapped between a dream and a burden. Fresno was once called the gateway of hope for middle-class families, those who couldn't afford Los Angeles or San Francisco. For many parents, Fresno was the place they believed their children could start a life of their own with a reasonably priced home. But in 2025, a painful truth is emerging. Fresno is no longer a land of opportunity. It's a mirror reflecting the fragility of the home ownership dream. Home prices here have jumped more than 45% in just a few years, while local incomes have barely moved. A newly built house now exceeds $420,000, while most families only earn around $70,000 a year. With mortgage rates over 6.5%, even a lifetime of hard work makes that loan feel impossibly out of reach. And for those who did manage to buy, the tragedy lies elsewhere. Maintenance costs are draining every last bit of savings. Summer power bills climb into the hundreds as temperatures soar past 110 degrees. Home insurance has doubled, even tripled, due to wildfire risks. Property taxes keep rising, while pensions remain stagnant. Many people in their 60s and 70s are waking up to a cruel reality. The home they once believed was their safe haven is turning into a bottomless pit, swallowing their golden years. What makes Fresno truly frightening isn't just the price tag. It's the sight of newly built neighborhoods. Fresh asphalt still warm from construction. But no kids playing, no neighbors greeting each other. The homes are there, but the people are gone. It's a symbol of a community losing its soul, where trust disappears faster than market value. For the middle-aged and retired, Fresno poses a haunting question. How much longer can you keep hanging on? If you hold on, will the costs crush your stability? If you sell, will anyone even want to buy in a slowing market? This is the brutal truth of 2025. You no longer simply own your home. You are fighting to keep it. If you're starting to feel like your home is becoming more of a burden than a refuge, share your story in the comments. Are you holding on or thinking of selling? What keeps you up at night? Don't forget to like and subscribe so we can keep uncovering the raw truth behind California's housing market. 38. Palm Springs. When holding on to a home is harder than living in it. In some places, the question is no longer whether you can afford to buy a home. It's, can you afford to keep it? Palm Springs, with postcard landscapes and year-round sunshine, is quietly becoming a burdened paradise few dare to speak honestly about. In less than a year, home insurance costs here have doubled, even tripled in many areas. Not because homeowners were reckless, but due to extreme climate conditions, escalating wildfire risks, and a wave of insurance companies pulling out of California. Many are turning to Lloyd's of London, a faraway international insurer, just to secure basic coverage for their property. But that's just the tip of the iceberg. Summers in Palm Springs last more than 6 months. Temperatures regularly soar beyond 110 degrees. Cooling bills, water for lawns and pools, routine maintenance. All of it chips away at your finances, even for those with good income. A newly built, 2,000 square foot, 4-bedroom home in a quiet neighborhood just sold for $165,000 below its original list price. And that's no longer the exception. The Palm Springs housing market isn't collapsing with a bang. It's sliding down quietly. As young people stay away, older residents start selling off, and the community gradually loses its real, lived-in heart. There's no dramatic crash, but there's a silent retreat. Palm Springs is becoming a strange case study, a place where the house may be beautiful, the weather may be ideal, but the cost of living far outweighs the value of living. And when that happens, a house stops being a dream. It becomes a glamorous shell, hiding a life of pressure inside. Chapter 7. IRVINE, a model city, now feeling empty. IRVINE used to be the blueprint for the modern California dream. Smart urban planning, top-rated schools with impressive test scores, and a clean, perfectly safe living environment. It was seen as a symbol of stability and prosperity, a city that seemed immune to failure when it came to attracting residents and investors. But something strange and worrying has started happening in Irvine. A truth you won't find in mainstream economic reports. Homes are still being sold, but there's no one living in them. The city keeps expanding, but it feels like it's lost its heartbeat, its sense of real community. Home prices in Irvine are still extremely high, often hovering between $1.6 to $2 million in many new neighborhoods. But warning signs are becoming impossible to ignore. Public signs advertising $150,000, $200,000 discounts are now openly displayed by developers, something unheard of just a year ago. Not because Irvine is facing a sudden financial crash, but because real buyers have disappeared. Irvine's rapid growth relied heavily on foreign investment, especially from China. For over a decade, many buyers came not to settle or raise families, but simply to park their money. Homes weren't homes. They were storage units for capital. Now, as China's economy weakens and capital begins pulling out of global markets, Irvine's flawless image is starting to crack. The true pain of this city isn't in the numbers, but in the eerie stillness you can feel. Empty sidewalks after school, windows closed all week, no lights on at night, and the unsettling sense of living in a beautiful shell with no soul. A city can be modern, expensive, and perfectly designed, but if it no longer serves real human needs, what is it? A hollow shell, an architectural skeleton with no life inside. Irvine doesn't need to crash in the traditional way to be considered a collapse. It's falling, in a deeper sense, losing real people, losing community ties, losing the soul it once had. That's the shocking truth about Irvine we need to confront. Are you living somewhere that looks perfect on the map, but feels like you're not really alive? Number 6. San Francisco. A millionaire's city, but no longer a city for the people. San Francisco was never cheap, but at least back then, it was still worth living in. Now, things are different. A quiet exodus is spreading, not from investors, but from real people. People who once called this place home. There's no chaos, no drama, but you can see it clearly. Stores closing early, once bustling streets now nearly empty, luxury condos so silent. You can hear the wind echo through the hallways. Median home prices in San Francisco have dropped about 6 to 9% since their 2022 peak. But that's just the surface. What matters more is this. Buyers no longer want to buy. Renters don't want to stay. And residents are trying to leave. Why? Because life here has become wildly unbalanced and increasingly unbearable. The highest cost of living in the U.S. A growing, persistent homelessness crisis. A feeling of unease even in neighborhoods once considered high-end. Young people can't buy homes. Middle-class workers rent rooms, while hundreds of units sit empty. And when even financially stable people begin to ask themselves, why am I even living here? That's when the market starts collapsing from within. San Francisco isn't crashing fast, but it's losing its soul day by day. This city used to be a dream destination for the world. Now, it faces the risk of becoming a soulless symbol of a broken promise. Home prices may have dropped only a few percent, but human value, community strength, and quality of life have fallen much, much harder. The 5. Bakersfield. When the cash flow breaks and the community becomes inventory. Bakersfield was once seen as the budget solution for those priced out of LA or Fresno, a city that didn't stand out, but had just enough potential for buy, renovate, resell investors. for building new communities, and for dreams of steady growth. But 2025 reality? A cold, hard slap to all those expectations. The entire city is now filled with for sale signs on brand new homes, fully furnished, but no one's asking to buy. Neighborhoods look freshly built, but feel eerily silent. New construction inventory has soared, rents have plateaued, and even dropped in some areas. This is the moment when cash flow breaks, before returns ever arrive. Small investors can't get new loans. Renters aren't willing to pay extra for a new unit if the lifestyle feels no different. And owner-occupiers? They're waiting for prices to fall, or backing out entirely as the cost of living explodes. Maintenance, property taxes, insurance. In Bakersfield, the pain doesn't come from a loud collapse, but from the quiet loss of belief that you'll ever get out in time. When liquidity dries up, every unsold house becomes a silent liability. No cash flow, no life, only fear. A city once hoped to rise up has now become California's quiet warehouse of unsold homes. If you were once an investor in Bakersfield, or got pulled into the quick profit dream, what made you change your mind? Share your honest thoughts below. Your story might help someone else avoid a rushed decision. And if this content speaks to you, like and subscribe so you won't miss the next housing market insight. Tier 4. Sacramento. When the bubble of expectations bursts in the capital's heart. No city in California was hyped harder than Sacramento in the post-COVID era. People flooded in from San Francisco, San Jose, even Los Angeles, hoping for a cheaper, bigger home, escaping big city pressure. And in a flash, home prices in Sacramento soared. But when the fever passed, what remained was a city struggling to absorb the aftermath. Homes bought at sky-high prices can't be sold now. Owners fear the loss. New buyers? Gone. Renters? Slowing down as rents rise but quality of life stays flat. Inventory is up. Transactions are down. And most importantly, residents are starting to ask themselves, do I even want to stay here? Sacramento isn't crashing like the stock market. It's in a gridlock free fall. Not attractive enough to keep drawing newcomers, no longer fitting for long-time residents, lacking the momentum for recovery, yet too debt-heavy to allow real price drops. You can feel it in the silence of new developments, backyards, empty, strip malls, deserted. Many homeowners want to sell, but back out thinking, if I sell, I lose money, but if I hold, what future is there? Even city officials are growing uneasy. The population isn't rising as expected, while infrastructure spending has gone overboard. Unfinished projects, half-empty neighborhoods, like a dream left hanging, never fully lived. Sacramento was where people came to start over, but now it's where many feel stuck, trapped between a dream that's shattered and a reality with no clear way out. 3. Oakland. When the dream of moving up turns into a weight you can't carry. Oakland was once seen as the perfect alternative to San Francisco. Close by, more affordable, diverse communities, and the promise of price appreciation. Many believed, if I can't buy an SF, then Oakland is the next best choice. But that very expectation became its biggest trap. As home prices surged, cost of living skyrocketed, and the social infrastructure failed to keep up. Oakland began to crack from within. Crime spiked. Petty theft became normal. Lively neighborhoods turned into rows of for sale signs. Garage doors shut tight all day. Home prices are down 8 to 12% from the peak. But it's not enough to bring buyers back. Because the issue isn't just price, it's the feeling. Is it even safe or worth it to buy here? Locals are leaving. Dream-chasing investors are cashing out. And what's left? People who can't leave and can't afford to stay. You see them, living in homes that are falling apart, can't afford repairs, can't sell, can't relocate. High inventory, low liquidity. But the most painful truth is this: hope for recovery has disappeared. In many areas, homes sit on the market for 90 days without a single inquiry. Some investors have walked away from their properties, accepting the loss rather than keep pouring money in. Neighborhoods once hyped as revitalizing have returned to being empty and broken. Oakland isn't just losing value, it's losing its reason to be chosen. It's becoming a city people pass through, but no longer want to stop in. Did you once believe Oakland was the place to start a new chapter? Or were you forced to leave because life there became too expensive or too unsafe? Share your story, real, raw, and unpolished, because that may tell us more than any housing chart ever could. And if this resonates with you, like the video and subscribe, so you don't miss the next deep dive into California's real estate reality. 2. Stockton. When the dream of rising up becomes a silent burden. Stockton was once hailed as one of California's rising stars in the post-pandemic real estate boom. Home prices surged, investors poured in, Bay Area residents flocked here, hoping to finally afford a decent home. But when the wave of hype faded, what remained was a city crushed under the weight of market illusions. Home prices in Stockton began to correct in early 2024. But more worrying, inventory has surged, time on market has ballooned, and buyers are disappearing. In some neighborhoods, for sale listings have jumped over 60% in just 1 year. But views and inquiries? Plummeting. Longtime residents are leaving as living costs climb, while services, safety, and school quality fail to meet expectations. New buyers are hesitant, because current prices no longer match the real-life value of living here. Stockton is stuck. Prices aren't low enough to attract new residents. It's no longer appealing enough to keep the old ones. And investors have moved on to other markets. You can feel it when you walk through neighborhoods that used to be hot. Homes with for sale signs sitting untouched for months. Empty parking lots in local shopping centers. Landscaping left unattended. The atmosphere isn't bustling with potential anymore. It's frozen. Still. Quiet. Heavy. Stockton isn't abandoned. It's overwhelmed by expectations it couldn't meet and wasn't given time to adapt to. This isn't a sudden collapse. It's a long, dragging slump that's wearing down both the market and the people living in it. Chapter 1, Venice. When the beach remains. But no one wants to live there anymore. Venice was once a dream destination. Blue ocean, street performers, boutique canal-side homes, and that one-of-a-kind California feeling you couldn't find anywhere else. But because it was so beautiful, so desirable, Venice was transformed into an investment product, not a place to live. For more than a decade, Venice real estate was scooped up by the ultra-wealthy Airbnb landlords and out-of-state investors with one goal: not to live, but to hold, to monetize, to wait for prices to rise. But when the cost of ownership soared, Airbnb restrictions tightened, and the vacation market slumped post-pandemic, the truth began to show. Million-dollar homes sat empty. Original residents started leaving, unable to compete or shoulder the taxes, insurance, and upkeep costs. A beautiful home once bought for $2.8 million is now listed for under $2 million. And still no takers. Not because the location is bad, but because Venice has lost its soul, its real community. This isn't a crash on a chart. It's a quiet, spreading retreat of real people, real demand, and real belief in what was once the symbol of the American dream. Walk down Venice streets today. You'll see curtain-drawn homes all day, lights off all week, monthly rental signs on every gate, and a silence that feels unsettling. When no one wants to live in a city anymore, even if it sits beside the ocean, even if it's stunning, its real estate becomes a beautiful burden. Venice, the most picturesque city on this list, is also the one falling the quietest and the hardest. Because a true collapse doesn't happen when prices crash. It happens when people stop believing it's worth living there. We've just walked through 10 California cities, places once seen as icons of hope, investment, and prosperity. But today, they're becoming something else entirely. Proof of a truth no one wants to face. That real estate, no matter how beautiful, can lose its value when trust and real demand vanish. This isn't just a story of rising or falling prices. It's about holding on or letting go, staying or leaving, investing or exiting. And every one of those choices must be made based on reality, not emotion. If you own property in one of these areas, don't panic, but take a hard look at your carrying costs, mortgage, insurance, taxes, liquidity. If you're planning to buy, don't be fooled by cheap prices. Look deeper. Slowing sales, rising inventory,